Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on my channel we're all about real makeup for real life and real people. Here, very special welcome to you. Like I said, my name is Kyra. I hope you will consider subscribing today if you like what you see, of course. It helps you find my videos more easily on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday when I upload very early at 6 a.m. And allegedly, if you ring that notification bell to all, YouTube will let you know when that happens. So today's video is all about the makeup I wish I had tried sooner for one reason or another. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I wish I had tried sooner is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. I have mine in the shade 02 Sunkissed. This has a very light coconut scent to it, not like butter bronzer, more like Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer if you're familiar, but it's a very light, fresh coconut scent, which most people don't mention, but it is a definite plus for me. This is a bronzer I'm wearing today, and the thing I love about it is because it is so silky. I mean, it feels like if you've ever felt like a silky face powder, that's how this feels, but it's a bronzer, so it blends into the skin beautifully. It looks very, very natural on the skin. It is matte, but it still gives a little bit of a fresh luminosity to the skin, and there's just nothing bad about this bronzer. I don't know why I slept so long on this bronzer, other than I have a lot of bronzers. And also, I have never found, until my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronzed, until that one, I really hadn't found a lot of drugstore bronzers that I was crazy about. Most of my favorite bronzers prior to this and the L'Oreal were high-end all the way, baby. But this one is spectacular. It is a beautiful packaging, especially for the drugstore. But if you put this in something a little less plastic, you know, a little less drugstore, I would be hard pressed to tell you that this was a drugstore bronzer because it is just beautiful. Next is an eyeshadow palette, and it must be a very special eyeshadow palette because I don't wait around on eyeshadow palettes very often. But this is one that was no small chunk of change, and so I really hemmed and hawed and, you know, all that good stuff over this palette because, first of all, it's a neutral palette. And with the high price tag, I just didn't know if it was going to be worth spending the money. The palette is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. How I finally made the decision to purchase this palette comes with another eyeshadow palette, and that is the Alter Ego Sahara palette. If you're not familiar, Alter Ego does do dupe palettes for some popular eyeshadow palettes, and specifically Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes. So this is what the Sahara palette looks like. I purchased this summer, and I used it so much, and I loved it so much that I decided to go ahead and purchase the real thing. That might not make sense to anybody. Some might say, if you already have the dupe, why do you need the real one? Well, because of the cream to powder shadows in this one, and that is part of what makes this so amazing to me. Rayon right here, Tone, Tour, and Spot are all the cream to powder shadow formula from Natasha Denona. It's very creamy, but it does sort of come down to a powder finish, not powdery, but powder. I don't know. It's like a cream eyeshadow, but it's also like a powder eyeshadow, and I love that formula. And so when I knew by way of using the Sahara palette that I actually really loved this color story, I knew I would get a lot of use out of this Biba palette because of the color story, but also because I love those cream to powder shadows. So I kind of wish I would have tried this sooner, But I'm also glad that I made an informed decision by way of using this much cheaper palette with the same color story and discovering that yes, in fact, this will be a good investment for my collection. No, I still haven't decided if I'm going to end up parting ways with the Sahara palette at some point because it is the same, air quotes. But I love the Sahara palette too, so I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it in January, but let's move on to the next product. Next product is very utilitarian, but this thing has been raved upon on YouTube here, or as I like to call it, BeauTube, since the dawn of time, or at least for the last 3 years that I've been watching YouTube, and that is the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Some people use yellow ochre or whatever ochre, the more yellowy one. This is the more peachy one called Painterly. It actually works pretty perfectly with the color of my actual eyelids. I love that this also cancels out any discoloration while helping to keep my makeup on, my eye makeup, my eyeshadow on all day. I love that it's in a little pot. I can either dig my little phalange in here or a brush and apply it very quickly. The other thing I like about it being in a pot is that if I feel like I need to, on the lower lash line, to get a shadow to stick or stay or what have you, I can take a little pencil brush like this and get in there and also easily get underneath on that lower lash line, you know, in a more precision way than I could if it was a doe foot, if it was a doe foot, or if it was, you know, a squeezy tube. Where are you, squeezy tube? Like this one. So I really love this. It does a great job holding onto eyeshadow for me, and that's why I wish I had tried it sooner. Next is a product I wish I would have tried sooner because it would probably have saved me a whole ton of money over the last 3 years while searching for the perfect concealer, and that is the old trusty, the old cheapo Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I remember people talking about this when I first started YouTube, but I was very intimidated by the drugstore. At the drugstore, where there tends to be a little bit smaller shade range, you can't try things or swatch things like that. I never felt comfortable with buying a lot of drugstore foundations or concealers or so on because of my lack of confidence in shade matching myself. So years later, for less than $5, I tried this Fit Me concealer and I absolutely adore it. It is just perfect. I don't understand how I didn't try this sooner. I wish I had tried it sooner. I have tried so many concealers over the last couple of years that it's absolutely ridiculous. So when I tried this one and it checks all of my boxes, it's got like a medium coverage, it feels hydrating, it doesn't look dry or cakey under my eyes. It's just pretty spectacular, and I really wish I had tried this sooner. Let's talk about the last utilitarian sort of product here, and this is actually a new product that I wish I had tried sooner. New to me, not new on the market, at least not that I know. And that is the e.l.f. Wow Brow Tinted Brow Gel. Has a decent little spoolie on here. It does have fibers in it. I wear the shade Neutral Brown as I do in their brow pencils, but there's something about this gel and the spoolie, I would have to assume, that just catches every little hair that I didn't even think I had in my eyebrows. I'm one that will tell you I don't have a ton of natural brow hair, and I do have some sparse areas and even some bald spots. So when I, just on a whim, I kept hearing people talk about it. I think it was Andrea Mataliano and some other ladies here on YouTube that I started hearing e.l.f. Wow Brow, and I was like, you know what? I'll try it. Threw it on my grocery order, got lucky, and they actually picked it out for me and brought it with my groceries. And I love this. This has completely dethroned my Essence Make Me brow because something about this specific spoolie and formula just catches every single hair. It makes it look more hair-like even after I've taken a pencil to my brows. It's just wonderful, and I am so glad that I finally did try it. Let's talk about a face palette. So many face palettes are limited edition, and these days I'm very careful about what face palettes I might choose to pick up because of the fact that they're limited edition. Not that I won't use limited edition products on my channel, but when I am doing a full face of, let's say, high-end makeup, and I'm using products that you can't get your hands on, I know that can be frustrating. So this is a face palette that actually has been available for a long time. And now that I have it in my hot little hands and I've used it as much as I could, I wish I had bought this sooner, and that is the Smashbox Cali Contour palette. You get a contour shade, a bronzer, a mattifying like banana type powder, a blush, and 2 highlights here. Not only are these products beautiful, but the reason I wish I had tried it sooner is because I sort of pushed this to the side just because of the brand. I personally have hardly ever found anything from Smashbox that I like. I can think of very, very few things, if any. I don't like their primers. I haven't liked their lip products that I've tried. I think I've tried a couple of eyeshadows from them that I wasn't impressed with. And so every time I saw a favorite YouTuber mention this product, I was just like, yeah, okay, it's from Smashbox. This is fabulous. I really wish I had picked this up sooner, but I'm so glad to have it in my hands now. The only product I don't use a whole ton is the banana powder, but that's just because I don't typically use banana powders in general from any brand. But I love the contour shades, the contour and the bronzer. I will mix them together. You know, they're just really great. This blush is fantastic for a ton of looks. There's not much that this blush won't go with. And then these highlighters are really, really beautiful. They're soft and kind of subtle, but can be built up if you want. I like that you get the 2 tones. It makes it a little bit more versatile for some people, as well as, you know, during the parts of the year where I have a little bit more color to my skin, I can mix these together or layer them. I also like to mix this more golden one with the bronzer sometimes, just to make it a little bit more of like a luminous bronzer. So this palette, while it has 6 different products in it, is way more versatile than that because of the mixing factor. I like to mix the bronzer and the blush together. The list goes on. Meanwhile, you know, I do really recommend this product. I wish I had purchased it sooner, but I'm glad that I have it now. Last but not least, let's talk about lipsticks. These were really popular on YouTube even before my time on YouTube began. And they're drugstore, and it's from a brand, again, that I haven't had a ton of luck with in terms of products from the drugstore that I love, but these lipsticks are fantastic, and they happen to come from Flower Beauty. These are the Petal Pout lipsticks. I have 2 shades, Coral Crush, which is a really fun corally pink shade for spring and summer, and then my favorite of the 2 is Spiced Petal. This is very much a shade dupe for Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk, so if you've been interested in that very expensive lipstick, I actually recommend this one even more because it's a cream formula and therefore it's a little bit more comfortable than the Matte Revolution formula, even though I do personally love that formula. So here is Spice Petal and here is Coral Crush. They're creamy, they're comfortable. I do have a little bit of Spice Petal in the center of my lips over a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick today, but I just absolutely love this formula. I think part of the reason that I didn't jump on these lipsticks when I first found out about them and started hearing more about them is partially the packaging. I don't love drugstore lipstick packaging that has these clear lids on them, especially, you know, in retrospect, those that the stickers are really hard to get off of. That's just a little pet peeve of mine, but you know, I'm glad that I have these lipsticks in my life now. I would absolutely consider buying other shades if I could get in store and actually look at them, but I do recommend those. And that, my friends, is a wrap. These are 7 products that I wish I had tried sooner. Let me know down in the comments, what are some products that you wish you had tried sooner, for what reason, all that good stuff. I love hearing from you guys down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. If you did, you could give it a big old thumbs up for me. It helps me out, gets my videos recommended to other people, and we can all make more friends down in the comments. With all of that said, thank you for joining me today. I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I will see you in my next video real soon.